For a long time, I thought the problem was with me. When my friends saw how I organized my house, the jokes would come right away. "Wow, do you have OCD?" Or, "That's excessive. No one lives like that." I would wonder if it was normal to feel so much peace when everything was in its place. If it was strange to feel anxious seeing cluttered drawers, disorganized cabinets and things piled up without purpose. Then I discovered that millions of people on the other side of the world not only understood this feeling, but considered it a path to a fuller life. Today I'll share how I transformed my messy home into a peaceful sanctuary, using 7 essential principles of minimalism that I learned from Japanese culture. The change was so profound that it didn't just affect my physical spaces, but also my mind. When my home changed, my entire life changed along with it. And the best part, you don't need money, expensive products, or grand renovations. Just a new way of looking at what you already have. I remember when my closet was overflowing with clothes, yet I always felt like I had nothing to wear. When my kitchen was filled with utensils, but preparing a meal felt like an impossible mission. Do you recognize that feeling? It's the paradox of abundance that suffocates us. The first principle that transformed my life was understanding that every object deserves respect. This means that every item in our home should serve a purpose or bring genuine joy. I started by looking at my kitchen drawers. How many broken plastic spoons was I keeping just in case? How many lidsless containers were taking up valuable space? How many utensils did I never use? I categorized everything into 3 groups: what I use frequently, what I use rarely, and what I haven't used in over a year. The last category went straight to donation. To my surprise, it was almost half of everything I owned. Items that were just taking up space, collecting dust, and more importantly, draining my mental energy every time I saw them. The second principle was to create breathing spaces. In any organized home, emptiness is as important as what is present. Think about the spaces between furniture, the shelves that aren't completely packed, the nooks that allow your eyes to rest. These spaces are not wasteful. They are essential for us to breathe and think clearly. In my living room, I removed 3 small decorative tables that served no real purpose. Immediately, the environment felt larger, airier, more inviting. I realized I was tripping over those tables daily without even recognizing the mental strain it caused me. Small daily frustrations add up to create a significant emotional burden. The third principle that changed my life was the idea that organization is a daily act, not an occasional event. I set aside 5 minutes every night to return everything to its designated place. Just 5 minutes. That's the time it takes to brush my teeth. This small routine eliminated those exhaustive cleaning sessions on weekends that I dreaded so much. My kitchen counter now stays clean because I wash the dishes right after using them. My bed is always made because it only takes 60 seconds to tidy it up in the morning. The secret isn't to clean more, it's to mess less. The fourth principle was to create systems that work for you, not against you. The best organization is the one you can maintain effortlessly. For example, I noticed that I always left my keys in different places, wasting precious minutes searching for them every morning. The solution was simple. I installed a small hook by the door. Now, coming home and hanging my keys is a single motion. In the laundry room, I replaced several small baskets with 2 large ones, one for light clothes and the other for dark ones. Simplicity is key. The simpler the system, the more likely you are to maintain it. The fifth principle is perhaps the most challenging: the conscious practice of letting go. Our natural tendency is to accumulate. We buy, receive, and store. We rarely stop to question the constant flow of things entering our lives. I established the one-in, one-out rule. For every new item that I bring into my home, another must go out. When I bought a new pair of shoes, I donated an old pair that was still in good condition. When I received books, I passed on those I had already read and didn't plan to reread. This simple practice prevented the silent accumulation that had dominated my home for years. The sixth transformative principle was to reorganize my spaces according to frequency of use. The items I use daily are always within reach, while those I use rarely are stored in less accessible places. In the kitchen, the plates and utensils I use every day are in the most accessible drawers and cabinets. Special equipment, like the waffle maker I use only on Sundays, is kept in higher cabinets. This simplifies my routine and eliminates the frustration of digging through 10 things to get to what I need. The seventh principle, and for me the most profound, was learning to value quality over quantity. I now realize how our society conditions us to believe that more is always better. More clothes, more shoes, more electronics, more of everything. But the truth I've discovered is that a few well-chosen items bring much more satisfaction than many mediocre ones. I swapped a drawer full of cheap t-shirts for 5 of excellent quality. I halved my collection of pots and pans, keeping only the ones that really work well. The satisfaction I feel from using something that was chosen carefully, works perfectly, and will last for years is incomparable. There was a moment, after a few months of practicing these principles, when I came home and felt something different, a sensation of lightness, as if an invisible weight had been lifted. I realized that I was no longer managing things, I was living. The mental energy that I used to spend searching, organizing, cleaning, and worrying about objects was now free for experiences, relationships, and creativity. I specifically remember a friend who came to visit me after this transformation. She commented on how calm my home felt. It wasn't the furniture or the decor, it was the absence of visual chaos, the sense that everything was exactly where it should be. "Your home feels like it's breathing," she said. That was the best description I've ever heard. I want to share some specific transformations that have made all the difference in my daily routine. In the bathroom, I removed all the products that I didn't use regularly. Those 12 different types of shampoo, conditioner, and hair masks, I reduced it to 3 products that truly work for my hair. The dozens of makeup products, I kept only the ones I use weekly. The result was a bathroom that is much easier to clean and a morning routine that is much simpler. No more standing around looking at various options, trying to decide which one to use. Fewer decisions mean less stress right at the start of the day. In my bedroom, the biggest transformation was around the bed. I removed the television, the computer, and even the books. This space is now dedicated exclusively to rest. My sleep significantly improved when I stopped associating my bedroom with work or entertainment. The walls, once covered in frames and photographs, now have just a few carefully chosen pieces. I discovered that my eyes and my mind need places to rest. A less cluttered visual space leads to clearer thoughts. In the office, the change was dramatic. Files, papers, and materials that I kept just in case took up entire drawers. After digitizing the important documents and discarding the rest, my workspace became a place where ideas flow freely, without constant visual distraction. I began to notice how disorganization affected my productivity in ways I wasn't even aware of. Every time my eyes passed over a pile of unresolved papers, my brain registered a "I have to do this later," creating an invisible cognitive load. But the real magic happened in the common spaces, the living room and kitchen. These are the places where we host people, where the family gathers. I removed purely decorative items that held no personal significance. Every object that remained has a story or a clear purpose. My dining table, once a catch-all for mail, keys, bags, and random items, now stays clean and inviting. This has encouraged us to have more proper meals, sitting together instead of eating quickly in front of the television. The kitchen underwent a similar transformation. Utensils that served only one very specific function were replaced with versatile tools. The surfaces became clear, with only the essentials visible. This not only improved the appearance of the space, but also made meal preparation smoother and more enjoyable. One often overlooked aspect is food storage. My pantry was a chaotic mix of open packages, hidden cans, and expired products. I transferred grains, pasta, and cereals into clear containers, which not only created an appealing look, but also allowed me to easily see what needed to be restocked. Something I noticed during this journey is how our cabinets and drawers become emotional time capsules. I found gifts that I never used but kept out of guilt, clothes that no longer fit but represented a previous version of myself, souvenirs from trips that didn't bring me joy, but I felt I should keep as proof of the experience. I learned that I can honor memories and relationships without holding on to objects that no longer serve my present. The photos from that trip are much more meaningful than the refrigerator magnet. Friendship is far more important than a gift that doesn't match my taste or lifestyle. This journey taught me that there is a crucial difference between tidying up and organizing. Tidying up is about hiding the mess in cabinets and drawers. Organizing is about creating intentional systems where everything has its designated place. I realized that I was spending a lot of time tidying up, basically moving clutter from a visible location to a hidden one, without actually solving the underlying problem. The real change came when I started to question the presence of each object. Why am I keeping this? Became a powerful question. If the answer was just in case, or because it was expensive, or because someone gave it to me, I knew it was time to reconsider. One principle I've adopted is that of current utility. It doesn't matter how useful an item was in the past, or how it might be useful in some hypothetical future scenario. What matters is whether it serves my life right now. This simple shift in perspective has freed up meters of space in my closets and on my shelves. Another significant change was the implementation of dedicated zones. Each important activity has its own space, with everything needed to carry it out. For example, the reading nook has a comfortable chair, the right lamp, a small coaster for tea, and a shelf with my current books. Everything I need is within reach, eliminating the friction that often prevents us from starting enjoyable activities. This idea has extended to the kitchen as well. I created a coffee preparation zone with everything necessary for my morning ritual. Instead of opening 3 different cabinets to gather a cup, coffee, filter, and spoon, everything is in one place. Small conveniences like this add up throughout the day. Something I've discovered is that horizontal surfaces are magnets for clutter. Tables, counters, sideboards, any flat surface quickly becomes a catch-all for various items. My solution has been to keep these surfaces intentionally empty, or with very few carefully selected items. This not only creates a clean aesthetic, but also discourages unconscious accumulation. The entrance of the house is another crucial point. It's where the outside world meets our personal sanctuary. I've installed specific hooks for keys, a small bench for removing shoes, and a dedicated basket for mail. Nothing else is allowed in this space. This simple entry routine prevents the chaos of the outside world from invading my peaceful space. I also realized how sounds and smells affect our perception of organization. A house may look visually organized, but if there's constant noise from devices, notifications, or a mix of conflicting scents, we still feel a sense of chaos. I drastically reduced the sensory noise by eliminating unnecessary devices, silencing notifications, and being mindful of fragrances in the house. In the bedroom, I applied the 3-minute rule. If something takes less than 3 minutes to do, I do it immediately. Folding and putting away freshly laundered clothes, hanging up a coat, or returning a book to the shelf, these small actions, when postponed, accumulate and create a feeling of constant disorder. Making the bed always makes a surprising difference in the atmosphere of the room. It's like saying, this space is cared for, it matters. The psychological impact of entering a room with a made bed after a tiring day cannot be underestimated. In common areas like the living room, I've learned the importance of constant editing. Every few weeks, I look at the space with fresh eyes and ask, does this still serve the purpose of the environment? Does it still resonate with who we are now? This ongoing reassessment prevents spaces from becoming static or misaligned with our current needs. With children or pets, organization requires specific strategies: open baskets at accessible heights for toys, simple tidying routines at the end of the day, and the understanding that perfection is not the goal. A lived-in home will have moments of disorder. The important thing is to have systems that make recovery easy and quick. The change of seasons is another perfect time to reassess our spaces. When I stored away winter items, I took the opportunity to donate coats we hadn't worn during the previous season. When I prepared the house for summer, I reviewed which pieces truly enhanced our experience of the warm days. I discovered that organization is, at its core, a practice of mindfulness. It's about being present with our possessions, our space, and the activities we engage in. It's recognizing how the environment impacts our mental state and making conscious adjustments to support our well-being. Throughout this journey, I realized we are not just organizing objects, we are organizing our own energy. Each item we keep requires a portion of our attention, even if unconsciously. By reducing the number of items to only those that truly support our lives, we free up energy for what really matters. The most profound transformation was not visible, it was internal. The clarity of my spaces reflected in my mental clarity. Decisions became easier, priorities became more apparent. There were fewer distractions and more focus on what I truly value. An organized home is not a final destination, but an ongoing practice. It's not about achieving perfection, but creating a space that responds to our actual needs and supports our daily well-being. It's a constant dialogue between us and our environment. If you are feeling overwhelmed by the idea of transforming your entire home, start small. Choose a drawer, a shelf, or even just the area around your bathroom sink. Try the principles I shared in a limited space. Notice how you feel using this space after the transformation. Remember that the goal is not to create a home that looks like it came out of a home decor magazine. The goal is to create a space that allows you to live your best life, whatever that means for you. A home that supports your relationships, your passions, your rest, and your work. The beauty of a truly organized home is that it nearly disappears. It functions so well, supports your life so perfectly, that you rarely need to think about it. And perhaps that's the greatest gift an organized home can offer, the freedom to focus on what really matters. This journey has taught me that our relationship with our spaces and possessions is deeply personal. What works for me may not work for you. The important thing is to develop awareness of how your environment affects your daily life and to make adjustments that resonate with your specific needs. When I look at my home now, I see more than an organized space. I see a reflection of conscious choices, clear priorities, and a life lived with intention. Every object has a purpose or a special meaning. Every space has been designed to support the activities we value, and most importantly, when something is out of place, which inevitably happens in real life, it's not a drama. The systems are simple enough that recovery is quick. Organization becomes a natural habit, not a monumental task. If there's one message I would like you to take away from this video, it's this. Your home should serve your life, not the other way around. You don't need to conform to imposed aesthetic standards or follow trends that don't resonate with you. True organization isn't about how your home appears to others. It's about how it works for you. This journey has never been about aesthetic perfection for me. It has been about creating a sanctuary that allows me to breathe, think clearly, rest deeply, and live fully. A space that honors the past, but is not dominated by it. A space that embraces the present and leaves room for the future. I invite you to start your own journey, at your own pace. Look at your home with new eyes. Question what really needs to be there. Create systems that work for you, not against you. And remember that every small change is a step toward a more intentional and fulfilling life. This transformation is not just about having fewer things. It's about having more life, more clarity, more peace, more space for what truly matters. And this, I believe, is the true gift that minimalism offers us. Share this blessed video so it can touch and help others like you and me. Don't forget to click the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of our faith community. If you wish to support our channel a bit more, consider becoming a member of our channel. Here are 2 more videos for you to continue your journey. Thank you and may God bless you all. See you soon.